At 6:42 p.m. on Tuesday, January 27th, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar stood at a podium in Minneapolis and said the words that have been building for 3 weeks. ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good. And I am calling for the resignation or impeachment of Secretary Kristi Noem. 17 seconds later, a man charged the podium with a syringe full of liquid and sprayed her in the face. Subscribe to Capital Prime and turn on notifications, because what happened in those 17 seconds and what Ilhan Omar did in the moments after reveals everything about this moment in American politics. This is the story of a congresswoman who refused to be silenced, a community under siege, and the direct line between presidential rhetoric and political violence. Let me show you exactly what happened, because the video is stunning. Omar is mid-sentence. ICE cannot be reformed. A man in a blue shirt walks quickly down the center aisle of the Urban League Twin Cities facility. He's carrying a syringe. He shouts something the cameras don't quite catch. Witnesses said it sounded like, "You must resign." He reaches the podium. He extends the syringe. He sprays an unknown liquid directly at Omar's face and upper body. Security tackles him. He's on the ground within seconds. Minneapolis police, who were stationed in the room because of ongoing threats against Omar, arrest him on the spot. The room erupts, people screaming. Omar's staff rushing toward her. A strong vinegar-like smell fills the air, according to journalists who were there. Omar's aides are trying to pull her away from the podium. "You need to get checked," they're saying. "Leave the room, get checked." And Omar looks at them. She looks at the crowd. She looks at the cameras, and she says, "That is what they want." Pause for a second. Let that land. That is what they want. Not "I'm scared," not "I need medical attention," not "call my family." That is what they want. Omar refused to leave the stage. She stood there, liquid still on her clothes, the smell of vinegar in the air, the man who attacked her being dragged out by police, and she said, "We will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it." The crowd erupted in cheers, and for the next 25 minutes, Ilhan Omar, who had just been physically attacked by a man with a syringe, continued her town hall. She talked about Alex Pretti, the ICU nurse killed by Border Patrol agents 3 days earlier. She talked about Renee Good, killed by an ICE agent on January 7th. She talked about Liam Ramos, the 5-year-old detained in his driveway. And she said, "Here's the reality that people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw at us." Later, when reporters asked if she had reservations about continuing public events, Omar said, "Well, I think my presence here should tell you that the fear and intimidation doesn't work on me." The man who attacked Ilhan Omar is Anthony James Kazmierczak. He's 55 years old. He was arrested on third-degree assault charges. According to Omar, Kazmierczak was specifically upset that Trump's order to deport Somalis was not yielding enough deportations of Somalis. So he wanted to come get the person he thought was protecting the Somalis. The FBI took over the investigation on Wednesday. They haven't confirmed a motive publicly, but Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty said preliminary reports indicate the liquid was non-toxic. That's important. The attack wasn't designed to seriously injure Omar physically. It was designed to intimidate her, to humiliate her, to silence her. It didn't work. To understand why this attack happened Tuesday night, you have to understand what Donald Trump had been doing all day Tuesday. At a rally in Iowa on Tuesday afternoon, hours before the attack, Trump mocked Ilhan Omar and her home country, Somalia. "Immigrants must show that they can love our country," Trump said. "They have to be proud, not like Ilhan Omar." The crowd booed at the mention of her name. Trump continued, "She comes from a country that's a disaster. So probably it's considered, I think, it's not even a country." Later that day, Trump said the Justice Department and Congress were looking at Omar. No explanation of what they were looking at. just the threat. This wasn't new. Trump has been attacking Ilhan Omar for years. He's mocked her, questioned her loyalty, suggested she should go back to Somalia. But in recent weeks, as the Minneapolis ICE crisis has intensified, his attacks have escalated dramatically. In December, at a cabinet meeting, Trump referred to Omar as garbage. Last week, he accused her of participating in government services fraud involving Somali immigrants without providing any evidence. And on Tuesday, hours before she was attacked, he told the crowd she wasn't proud of America and came from not even a country. Ilhan Omar addressed this directly at a press conference Wednesday. Blame is very interesting, but facts are more important, Omar said. And what the facts have shown since I've gotten into elected office is that every time the President of the United States has chosen to use hateful rhetoric to talk about me and the community that I represent, my death threats skyrocket. This is documented. U.S. Capitol Police reported nearly 15,000 potential threats against lawmakers, their family members, or the Capitol itself in 2025. That's a 57% increase from the year before. Omar has been one of the most threatened members of Congress for years. And every time Trump attacks her publicly, the threats spike. Trump was asked about the attack on Wednesday. He claimed, without any evidence, that Omar staged it. Let me say that again. A member of Congress was physically attacked on camera by a man who was immediately, and the President of the United States claimed she faked it. The attack on Tuesday didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened at a town hall specifically about the ICE crisis in Minnesota. Let me recap what's been happening in Minneapolis over the past 3 weeks. January 7th, Renee Macklin Good, a 37-year-old mother of 3, was shot and killed by an ICE agent. She was driving away from a scene when she was shot. January 20th, Liam Ramos, a 5-year-old boy in a bunny hat, was detained in his driveway after preschool. ICE agents used him as bait to see if anyone else was home. He's now in a detention center in Texas, 1,200 miles from his mother. January 24th, Alex Pretti, a 37-year-old ICU nurse and U.S. citizen, was shot and killed by Border Patrol agents. The government claimed self-defense. Witnesses say the agent's account is false. 3 weeks, 2 U.S. citizens killed, a 5-year-old used as bait, and Ilhan Omar, who represents Minneapolis, had been calling for accountability. On Tuesday night before the attack, she said, ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good. She called for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to resign or face impeachment. 17 seconds later, she was attacked. Here's what's remarkable. Omar's call to abolish ICE, once considered a far-left position, is now being echoed by mainstream Democrats. On Wednesday, Congresswoman Delia Ramirez held a press conference at the Capitol. She stood next to a poster that read, "Abolish ICE," in large letters. We need to defund the Department of Homeland Security, Ramirez said. We need to abolish ICE. This is a sitting member of Congress, not a progressive activist. And she's saying this on national television in the U.S. Capitol. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has demanded that Trump remove all ICE and Border Patrol agents from Minnesota. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey has repeatedly called for federal agents to leave the city. Senator Tina Smith is calling the federal response to Alex Pretti's killing a cover-up. Even Republican Senator Tom Tillis, not exactly a progressive, has expressed serious concerns about ICE tactics in Minnesota. The political ground is shifting fast. After the attack on Omar, members of Congress from both parties condemned it. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, horrified. Political violence of any kind is never acceptable. Republican Congressman Tom Barrett, disturbing and unacceptable. Republican Congressman Pete Stauber, totally unacceptable. Even Nancy Mace, who has viciously attacked Omar in the past, who accused her of immigration fraud, who tried to subpoena her records, condemned the attack. I am deeply disturbed to learn that Representative Ilhan Omar was attacked, Mace wrote. Regardless of how vehemently I disagree with her rhetoric, and I do, no elected official should face physical attacks. But notice something. Most of these condemnations came with a caveat, I disagree with her, but her rhetoric is problematic. But nobody just said, this is wrong. They had to distance themselves from her, even while condemning the violence against her. Let's step back and look at what Tuesday night revealed about where we are as a country. First, presidential rhetoric has direct consequences. Trump called Omar garbage. He said she came from not even a country. He told crowds she doesn't love America. And within hours, a man attacked her. Second, Ilhan Omar represents something Trump and his supporters fear. She's a black Muslim immigrant woman who refuses to be intimidated. She's calling for the abolition of ICE. She's demanding accountability for federal agents who kill U.S. citizens. And she's doing it from a position of power as a member of Congress. Third, the ICE crisis in Minnesota has reached a breaking point. 2 killings in 3 weeks. A 5-year-old used as bait. Federal agents blocking state investigators from crime scenes. And now, a congresswoman physically attacked at a town hall about those killings. Fourth, abolish ICE is no longer a fringe position. When mainstream Democrats are saying it on national television, when state governors are demanding federal agents leave their states, the political calculus has changed. The FBI is investigating the attack on Omar. Anthony Kazmierczak is in custody. Charges are pending. But the larger questions remain. Will Trump moderate his rhetoric against Omar? History suggests no. He doubled down Wednesday by claiming she staged the attack. Will ICE operations in Minnesota continue? Secretary Noem has given no indication they'll stop. Will there be accountability for Alex Pretti's killing? Federal agents continue to block state investigators. Will the Abolish ICE movement gain traction? That depends on whether more incidents like this happen. And will Ilhan Omar be safe? She's continuing public events. She's refusing to be intimidated, but the threats against her will likely increase. On Tuesday night, a man with a syringe attacked a member of the United States Congress because she called for accountability over federal agents killing U.S. citizens. Ilhan Omar refused to leave the stage. She refused to be silenced. She refused to let fear win. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it, she said. And for 25 more minutes, she continued her town hall. This is the story of what happens when presidential rhetoric becomes violence, when federal agents operate without accountability. When a community says enough, subscribe to Capital Crime, turn on notifications, share this video, because what's happening in Minneapolis right now, the killings, the resistance, the attacks on elected officials who speak out, this is the story of our time. Drop a comment. Do you think Trump's rhetoric is directly responsible for the attack on Ilhan Omar, or is that unfair? This is Capital Crime, where we investigate power, defend truth, and refuse to let violence silence accountability. I'll see you in the next investigation.